Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Durham police spent hours searching for clues to a shooting that left one person dead and 3 others injured. How officers are piecing together evidence to solve this crime.
And we have a few lingering showers and some possible thunderstorms this afternoon and another round likely tomorrow. I'll walk you through the timeline.
And Wilson will soon welcome a new stadium to the downtown area. We'll share the excitement behind this morning's groundbreaking ceremony.
One person was killed yesterday as a suspected tornado struck the town of Columbia, Tennessee. This is drone video here on the right side of your screen that shows the power of that storm that hit the city. A brick home was destroyed and another home had its roof torn off. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. The powerful front that brought severe weather to parts of the country this week crosses our area tomorrow. Elizabeth Gardner is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at our level 1 risk for severe storms.
Out ahead of that front, we've seen a lot of destruction, including the video that you just saw. What we ended up seeing this morning in our southern counties was a lot of heavy rain, lightning, and some strong gusty winds, but nothing that reached severe criteria. A little bit of lingering shower activity there right now, just getting ready to move into our southern counties. There could be an isolated thunderstorm, and we do have a level 1 risk for severe storms for the next couple of hours. All of the big activity has been, at least today, down into the deep south, including parts of South Carolina. But the front is still back to the west. It's getting close to Nashville and stretching down across the Mississippi Valley. And when the front itself gets here, we're going to have an even better chance of seeing some scattered storms. Right now, we just have a level 1 risk for parts of Hoke, Cumberland, and Sampson County, but damaging winds and heavy rain are something we're likely to see tomorrow. We'll start this off at around 10 o'clock in the morning. Might see a little sprinkle, a little bit of sunshine peeking through. And then once we get to and past lunchtime, we begin to see some cells bubbling up. That's 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And when the front itself comes through, we may end up seeing a bit of a broken line. There's 7 o'clock and 8, 9 o'clock. We'll be finished with it by then. But along that line, tomorrow, late afternoon and evening, we could have the potential for some severe storms. We'll talk more about how much rain could fall with this coming up in just a bit.
And just like you heard Elizabeth say, tomorrow we could see severe weather, and you can plan ahead with the WRAL News app. It allows you to watch radar in real time to see when storms are in your area. Be sure to have the WRAL News app installed on your phone. Turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. It is free wherever you download your apps.
4 people were shot yesterday in an apartment complex in Durham. 1 man died and a woman is fighting for her life. Police say this happened in the 300 block of South LaSalle Street, right near Duke Hospital. WRAL's Monica Casey is live there now. And Monica, these people showed up at the hospital.
Yeah, Jeff, that's right. Durham police responded to reports of a walk-in gunshot wound over at Duke just before 10:15 last night. Police say it happened here, about a mile away. We spoke with a man who lives here at the Duke Manor apartment who tells us he heard those gunshots and saw police investigating in this area of the complex. He says usually this is a quiet spot. Our WRAL breaking news tracker was on scene last night. You can see more than 15 evidence markers in this video. 4 total people were shot, 3 men and 1 woman. We know 1 man has died and that woman has life-threatening injuries. The other 2 men had minor injuries. Now, Durham police release crime stats on Saturdays. The most recent numbers from last Saturday said 66 people have been shot in the Bull City this year. With the addition of these 4 from last night, plus another man we know was shot earlier this week, that number is now up to more than 70 people shot in Durham so far this year. There have been no arrests in this case yet, and police say this is believed to be an isolated incident. Jeff?
Troubling numbers and circumstances there. Monica Casey live in Durham for us this noon. Thank you.
A woman is recovering after being stabbed early this morning in Raleigh. Officers responded to Carlton Avenue just after 3:30 this morning. They say they aren't sure if the stabbing happened there or somewhere else. The woman was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Authorities say they have not made an arrest. Tonight, a memorial service is happening in honor of Alden Elliott. The Department of Adult Correction officer died in last week's shooting in Charlotte. This is video from the procession for Elliott that happened a week ago today. The memorial service will be at 6 tonight at Catawba Valley Community College in Hickory. Adult film actress Stormy Daniels returned to the witness stand this morning after 3.5 hours of testimony. During this morning's cross-examination, former President Trump's lawyer pressed her about making money off the alleged affair with the president. Under oath, the film's star said she never wanted to announce that she had sex with Trump. Daniels and Trump's attorney sparred over whether she made up the story.
President Biden is turning up the pressure on Israel by halting a shipment of American bombs unless the Israelis pull back from their offensive in Rafah in the southern part of Gaza. The move comes as ceasefire talks between the Israelis and Palestinians reaches a critical stage. The president has already paused the shipment of 3,500 additional U.S. bombs to Israel. Today, the Biden administration is expected to unveil a way to tighten the U.S. immigration system. President Joe Biden is under pressure to take executive action on border security. Some moderate Democrats are now joining Republicans with that request. A rule change will let immigration officials quickly deny asylum claims from migrants who are ineligible for protection. It's not a major overhaul, but it is a tightening of existing immigration policies.
The town of Hope Mills invites you to celebrate local baseball with a ribbon cutting today. The Hope Mills Rockfish will be joining the Old North State League, playing against 4 other teams from Southeast North Carolina. To recognize the start of the season, the team will hold a ribbon cutting ceremony on Rockfish Road at 2 this afternoon. The Rockfish are a wood bat summer baseball team, helping college players develop their skills. The Mungo Homes Foundation has started their 3rd annual week of service. Volunteers are currently in Raleigh helping to renovate the girls' cottage at the Central Children's Home of NC. The team is helping with everything from replacing floors and furniture to painting, power washing, and sprucing up the yard. The renovations are set to be complete by tomorrow.
This morning, the first steps were taken to build the Carolina Mudcats a new stadium. A groundbreaking ceremony in Wilson celebrated what's to come. WRAL's Chris Levinger joins us now with this story. And Chris, it'll be a little while before the stadium is built since the groundbreaking took place in the middle of downtown where the outfield is going to be.
April 2026, Jeff. That is when we could start seeing the Mudcats play at the facility. Just for a reference point, it's being built next to the Whirligig Park. Today's groundbreaking was a moment for the people involved in making this project happen to show their appreciation and excitement. What you see here on your screen, City Manager Grant Goings taking off his suit jacket to show off his Milwaukee Brewers jersey. The Brewers own and operate the Mudcats, its Class A affiliate. Yes, today was about the first steps to building the stadium, but the people who spoke today say the entire project is about so much more.
I just see this project as an opportunity to not only provide growth for Wilson now, but more importantly, growth for Wilson for our future. This project is going to enhance the lives of not only us who are here now, but our children and our children's children.
The baseball stadium is one piece of an entire sports entertainment complex that's planned. A hotel and family housing and business opportunities could be a part of this. The entire project is expected to cost around $280 million private and public dollars. WRAL's Heidi Kirk will dive a little bit more into the money behind this project. You can expect that story later on our evening newscasts.
Sounds like a whole entertainment district going in there. Chris, thanks.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, the Carolina Hurricanes getting ready for Game 3 tonight at PNC Arena. They are down 2 games, so this really is a crucial game for them. The team held a press conference earlier this morning, and we heard from Jacob Slavin. He said that whenever you're down 2 games, it's never a good place to be, but they are making adjustments. They said they have a lot of skilled players, and they've had their chances, but they are going to be better tonight. Listen to what he had to say.
You might be down 0-2, but there's a lot of life in the locker room. Like you said, a lot of experience that we have here with our group, and we got full confidence. We take it one game at a time, and so tonight's a huge game for us, and we got to do a job that is right there for us.
And we also heard from Coach Rod Brindamore. He said that they are switching goalies tonight. Freddie Anderson will rest and Pyotr Kucherkov will play. As I mentioned, this is a crucial game. If you'd like to go, you still can. Tickets are still available. The cheapest ticket I'm seeing right now is $123.
Here's hoping PNC gives them some good mojo tonight. Okay, the 78-day Olympic torch relay across France got underway this morning. Former Marseille soccer star Basile Boli carried the Olympic flame through the streets of the French southern port city. Former NBA star Tony Parker took his turn in the relay a little bit later. The torch will exchange hands between 10,000 people before it arrives for the opening ceremony in Paris on July 26th. WRAL is your home for Olympic coverage. Liz McLaughlin will be the one to go. She'll bring you live coverage from Paris.
Next at noon, getting a bridge off of a ship. That's what the Army Corps of Engineers is doing at the Baltimore Bridge collapse site. We explain how they plan to do it.
Also, a new ad for Apple's iPad Pro is getting some backlash. How technology versus creativity is being brought into question.
Plus, a delay at the DMV. Not exactly breaking news, but at 12:30, what that holdup could mean for next week's primary elections.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
We're getting a look at how the Army Corps of Engineers plans to remove parts of Baltimore's Key Bridge to get it off of that cargo ship. A controlled demolition is expected to take place in the coming days. Then the Dolly ship will be refloated and guided back to port. Here's a look at the plan. To refloat the cargo ship Dolly, the section of steel structure that's draped over it, pinning it down, has to be removed. To accomplish this, precision cutting offers one of the most efficient and safest methods to be able to remove steel under such a high level of tension. This highly controlled process allows for surgical precision. There are 4 steps involved. First, salvage and demolition teams will analyze the structure to determine the precise locations where the cuts will be made. Then small charges will be placed. Second, the teams will cut the steel at the identified locations. Third, the charges will be placed within the cuts and then wrapped with material similar to a large piece of tape. Finally, the charges are initiated and the steel is separated by precision cuts that are just millimeters in width when detonated. Upon explosion, the steel structure will also be thrust away from the ship. It's important to note this controlled demolition is not like what you'd see in a movie from a distance. It'll sound like fireworks or loud thunder and appear as puffs of smoke. These steps will be conducted methodically and with great attention to safety and detail as the Corps of Engineers works toward opening the waterway. The Dolly's 21-member crew is still on that ship. They'll shelter in place when those explosives are detonated.
The family of a special operations airman who was shot and killed by deputies is demanding the release of body cam video. Deputies say they were responding to a disturbance call when they shot 23-year-old Roger Fortson, but his family believes they went to the wrong apartment. Fortson was on a FaceTime call when the deadly encounter occurred. The family attorney says he heard 2 separate knocks but couldn't see anyone, so he retrieved his gun. The deputies then reportedly burst into the apartment and shot Fortson. The sheriff's office says the deputy reacted in self-defense after seeing the gun. A Georgia middle school worker is out of a job after a student drank vodka from a water bottle that she reportedly brought to school. The 39-year-old woman admitted to bringing the water bottle full of vodka. Officials say the student thought he was drinking Mountain Dew, but he soon realized it was something other than soda and reported it. A breathalyzer test revealed the worker was 3 times over the legal limit.
Eating ultra-processed foods is associated with an early risk of death. And now researchers say different foods have different effects. Meats had a bigger effect on risk of death than cereals and whole grain breads, which contain various beneficial nutrients like fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Researchers say they still need to see whether food additives, emulsifiers, or flavorings could be the problem. More than 200 people with diabetes were injured when their insulin pumps shut down unexpectedly due to a problem with the mobile app. The Tandem T Connect software is being recalled because an issue causes the app to crash on Apple iPhones and then relaunch. This cycle drains the pump battery, causing it to shut down sooner than expected and suspend insulin delivery. The FDA says no deaths have been reported.
Summer is right around the corner, and airlines are bracing themselves for what promises to be a record-breaking travel season. As we look live at RDU International Airport, American Airlines says they are doing a lot of work to get ready, while airport officials say they are investing in their team, technology, and tools for seamless operation, and they are determined to bounce back quickly if delays happen. A new report by J.D. Power reveals the top airline for customer satisfaction. It shows Delta Airlines received the highest customer satisfaction ratings for first and business class, as well as the premium economy segment. Southwest earned the top rating in the economy basic economy segment for the third year in a row. Frontier Airlines scored the lowest in customer satisfaction for economy.
It's quite breezy out there today, but for the most part, the rain is pushed off.
It has, but we can't rule out some storms later this afternoon. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We still have some showers on the radar.
Little sprinkle down here in our southern counties, back down to Moore County. To a little bit of light rain was moving in that direction and really has fallen apart. But just southwest of Southern Pines, you might still run into a sprinkle, and some of that is moving through Hoke County as well. So that's all we have going on right now. Let's widen out the view. Look down just to our south. Into South Carolina, and you can see this tornado watch. That's the red shaded area and a line of powerful thunderstorms, and that really is just south of our viewing area. So the reason that we're under that level 1 risk is just in case any of that were to clip us. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for folks in South Carolina, that's the second wave that's come through there and missed us. So it was possible that we would see that round early this morning and then that second one now, but all of that has been to our south. So that has kept us in North Carolina out of that danger. It is going to be a little breezy this afternoon. Gusts around 25 to maybe 30 miles per hour, but those gusts taper off as we get into the evening. We do have that level 1 risk for severe storms for the rest of the day today. The potential for damaging wind. Again, most of that has been just over the line into South Carolina. Here's a look at futurecast. A few sprinkles. We'll roll it out to 3 o'clock, and it's pretty much over. We'll pause it there at 8 o'clock, and you can see we're looking fine. It's likely to be cloudy for the remainder of the day, which will keep our temperatures a little cooler, but we're unlikely to see a lot of showers and thunderstorms for the rest of the day. 6 a.m. tomorrow, hopefully we'll be clear, but if we are, we'll add some energy to the atmosphere, and it looks like tomorrow we'll have a much better chance for scattered storms. The actual front that has been producing all of this severe weather will come through at that point. So here's lunchtime on Friday, just starting to see things getting cranked up. At 3 o'clock, some cells begin to develop, and then finally we see a bit of a line that develops into the evening. By 8 or 9 o'clock, it is done, and we clear out and make way for an absolutely fantastic weekend. Tonight, if you're headed to the Canes game, it'll be cloudy. There's a minimal chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Temperature around 80 degrees at 6 o'clock. Right now, temperatures are in the low to mid 70s, so we're still dealing with a lot of cloud cover, much cooler than this time yesterday, anywhere from about 8 to almost 15 degrees cooler. So big change from yesterday. We have the potential, if we would see some breaks in the clouds, to see highs climbing another 10 degrees into the mid 80s. We're looking tolerable in terms of our muggy meter, but that is going to drop nicely. Tomorrow's still going to be a little on the sticky side, but we drop it down Saturday and Sunday into refreshing and then comfy on Monday. So some much more pleasant conditions headed our way. 74 Saturday, 79 degrees on Sunday. So very pretty for Mother's Day. We're still going to have some rain, especially during the day tomorrow. I'll show you how much we could total up in the rain gauges coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. Protecting animals in our area starts with the resources that are available. Coming up today at 4, WRAL's Chelsea Donovan looks at the funds coming to the Wake County Animal Center and the solutions that come with it that will fix lingering issues.
Then at 5:30, federal leaders are holding a hearing today on how the credit card reward program works and whether you're actually getting a fair deal. 5 Under Side investigates if the headache of accumulating and redeeming the points is more than it's worth. Keeping your baby safe still ahead this noon. The action lawmakers are taking today that could protect your little one from harmful chemicals in their food.
Also, a new ad posted by Apple CEO Tim Cook is striking the wrong chord with some creators. Why the commercial for Apple's new iPad Pro is stirring up controversy. Welcome back. You're looking live at Southern Pines. You just might be able to get a round of golf in this afternoon without the rain. You're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device.
A new streaming bundle brings together some of the biggest brands in entertainment and why the interest rate on some student loans is likely to rise. Those are among today's business headlines with Maribel Aber.
The interest rate on federal student loans could go up by a full percentage point for the upcoming school year. The rate on undergraduate loans is now 5.5%, but one estimate says the new rate could be 6.5%. The U.S. Education Department will disclose the rate in the coming weeks. Now, the rate gets set once a year by the government, and it's partly based on the yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury note. And those yields have been high recently as the Fed keeps its interest rate elevated to fight inflation. Amazon will start showing you ads when you hit pause on Prime Video content. The ads will be interactive and give viewers the chance to add the items advertised to their carts or get more information via email. They're expected to start showing up in Prime Video movies, shows, and sports later this year. Amazon is the latest streaming service to roll out the technology. Hulu and Peacock have already launched pause ads, and YouTube has been testing the ads. Parent company Google says it's been getting premium prices from advertisers for the spots. Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery are going to bundle their streaming services. You'll be able to subscribe to a bundle that includes access to Disney Plus, Hulu, Max, ABC, Fox, CNN, and a variety of other cable networks. It's an effort to simplify streaming choices for viewers. No pricing details are available just yet, but is expected to be offered at a discount to what the services charge separately. The bundle will be available this summer in both an ad-free version and one with ads. And those are your business headlines. I'm Maribel Aber at the NASDAQ Market Site.
Gen Zers are struggling with debt more than millennials were at their age. According to data from the Credit Bureau TransUnion, the average credit card balance for 22 to 24-year-olds was nearly $3,000. But for millennials in that same period in 2013, their average inflation-adjusted debt was $2,200. The report also found younger people with larger debt fall behind quicker on their credit card payments.
Apple's ad for the new iPad Pro is sparking backlash from some viewers who say it's setting the wrong tone. It shows dozens of creative tools, including a record player, musical instruments, cans of paint, being crushed by a massive hydraulic press. And they're replaced by a new iPad Pro. One social media pundit says it lacks any respect for creative equipment and mocks the creators. Another report says it reflects the perspective that people think technology is killing everything in which we've ever found joy. And this is all going to be new territory for every one of us with the advancement of technology and AI. And what it means for us and our jobs.
Yeah, it's crushing just to watch and just to see the creativity and technology taking the upper hand, and that just sends the message, right?
Maybe the older we get, the more we like old school stuff, you know?
Hear, hear.
It worked before. Delays at the DMV, there's nothing new about that topic, but it could cause problems during this election cycle. Ways you can still cast your ballot even if you don't have a state-issued ID card.
Some GOP lawmakers are taking aim at public radio. Why some conservatives want to slash funding while others say that is not the right move. And here are your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The North Carolina DMV is dealing with delays in issuing licenses and IDs.
And with the second primary elections next week, it could pose a big problem for voters. WRAL's Sean Gallagher joins us now. And Sean, how long are people having to wait for the IDs?
Yeah, Jeff, you know what's funny is the people I've talked to today say that when they're inside of this building here, it's not busy like they're used to. They can get in and out pretty quickly, but the delays really happen when they leave. The DMV saying the typical 15-day turnaround for an ID has jumped to roughly 6 weeks, blaming a third-party contractor for that lag. Now, the DMV does issue a temporary paper ID, but that only lasts 60 days. And the State Board of Elections tells me that paper ID is not enough to let you vote. I actually had one woman tell tell WRAL her temporary ID expires in about 2 weeks, and she has not been told when her real ID will arrive. If you are waiting for your physical ID to arrive, you can still vote on Tuesday. Check the State Board of Elections site for acceptable alternative IDs like a passport. You can also pick up a free voter ID from your local county board of elections, but you only have until Saturday to do so. If all else fails, you still can fill out a photo ID exception form on the day of election and still cast your vote. Now, on that form, there's a box you can check that reads, I applied for a photo ID and have not received it. And the State Board of Elections tells me that should be good enough for you to be able to vote on Tuesday, Jeff.
All right, not the lines, but still awaits. Sean Gallagher outside DMV. Thanks for that. Wilson County leaders presented their proposed budget, and like Wake County, Wilson also underwent a property revaluation this year. The county manager proposes adding 4 cents to the revenue neutral tax rate. If approved, the average Wilson County homeowner will pay an extra $360 or more in property taxes.
House Republicans are pushing to take federal funds from NPR. A subcommittee of the Energy and Commerce Committee held a hearing focused on alleged biases in the public broadcaster's coverage. Chad Pergram explains what triggered the hearing.
All things considered, but not everyone accounted for. New NPR CEO Catherine Marr ducked a hearing about the network's perceived left-wing tilt.
Normally, a CEO refusing to meet with her funders would have her funding pulled.
Marr drew fire for tweets calling former President Trump a racist and saying white silence is complicity.
She was hired because of all these crazy tweets, right? Yeah. They didn't disqualify her.
Democrats defend Marr.
They gave her 1 week notice, and you want to haul her in here so that you can rake her over the coals for your partisan issues. Shame on this committee.
Republicans say you'll only get certain viewpoints when you tune in.
If all accents and all voices are to be heard, I don't hear a whole lot on the national news of folks with accents like mine.
A scathing essay by former NPR editor Uri Berliner sparked the congressional probe. Berliner blasting his old employer for dissing the Hunter Biden laptop story. An NPR advocate accused Republicans of working the refs.
Inquiries like today's will likely make NPR leadership more timid, and I imagine that's the point.
Republicans have attempted to kill public broadcasting for decades.
Anyone who wants to take the Muppets off public television will have a lot of explaining to do.
But not all Republicans want to eliminate public broadcasting, including one former radio host now in Congress.
In rural states, it's important. Zeroing them out because we've had 10 years of going the wrong direction is an extreme step that I wouldn't support.
That was Chad Pergram reporting. A bill has been introduced to strip NPR of the federal funds it receives by House GOP lawmakers. It's basically dead on arrival with the Democratic majority in the Senate and a certain veto from President Joe Biden.
Tonight, Carolina Hurricanes try to claw their way back into this series with the New York Rangers. They will play Game 3 at PNC Arena. Caniacs, let's go. They lost both games in New York. Puck drops for tonight's game. That's at 7 o'clock. And after the game, you can tune into WRAL for our exclusive post-game live coverage. That gets started at 11:25. And we're just about a month away now from the start of the U.S. Open, and we are getting a sneak peek from inside the new USGA Experience and World Golf Hall of Fame. It is located right between the Carolina Hotel and the main clubhouse there at number 2. It is full of historic artifacts, including a signed outfit worn by Payne Stewart at the 1999 U.S. Open. The exhibit opens to the public May 15th, and admission is free through the end of June. I cannot wait. You might not be able to get me out of that exhibit there. Pretty cool stuff. And Tiger coming. I mean, there's a lot of buzz going on here.
Yeah, so fancy and so much history there. I can't believe we're just a few weeks away until Pinehurst becomes the capital of the golf world.
On we go.
Ensuring what goes into baby food is not harmful to baby. The push to give the FDA more power in issuing restrictions and recalls for baby food.
Plus, a great white shark sighting off the U.S. coast. We'll tell you where it was swimming and why it marks a first. Our team is working to bring you exclusive stories for coverage you'll find only on WRAL. You can visit WRAL.com and search only. Tonight, a new documentary called Baby Heaven, The Buried Stories of Camp Lejeune premieres on NBC News now. It focuses on the stories of 5 women. All of them were exposed to toxic tap water at Camp Lejeune. All of them lost babies after being exposed to that water. Many of them are sick themselves. They feel they've been lied to and deceived for decades about the contamination. Earlier today, I spoke with NBC's senior investigative correspondent Cynthia McFadden about this report.
We didn't need to prove that the water at Camp Lejeune had been contaminated. You and many other groups around the country have done a terrific job of covering that part of the story. What we wanted to do was focus on a group who really hadn't been heard from, women, what life on Camp Lejeune had been like for them in the course of bearing children. And, you know, one of the things that becomes so apparent is that while cancer and kidney failure and these kinds of things take decades to develop, these babies were dying in real time. And if someone had bothered to notice, maybe so much of the tragedy that followed could have been avoided. So it's the cover-up.
You can watch the documentary Baby Heaven, The Buried Stories of Camp Lejeune tonight at 9 on NBC News Now. You can find that on NBCnews.com as well as on Peacock.
Lawmakers plan to introduce a bill today that limits the amount of heavy metals found in baby food. Reports in recent years have detailed concerning levels of the contaminants in foods made for babies and toddlers. So far, the FDA has set limits for heavy metals in only 2 baby products: infant rice cereal and juice. The bill directs the agency to develop broader limits. The FDA would also be able to mandate recalls if products do not meet standards.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, TikTok has announced they will begin labeling AI-generated content from other platforms. It'll look like this. It'll say uploading and then generated with AI. This is all in an effort to combat misinformation on the app. The company's decision comes over continued concerns of misinformation spreading online ahead of the election this year. Also, fake AI-generated content has continued to fool internet users. Most recently, fake images of Katy Perry and Rihanna posing at the Met Gala, even though the singers weren't even there.
Boeing Starliner has a new launch date when the first crewed mission is now expected to take place.
They're the iconic symbol of an American beer, and now the farm that breeds the Clydesdale horses is showing off 15 new foals. The rigorous training they'll have to endure before joining the official traveling teams.
The importance of mental well-being is at the forefront of public health. In recognition of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we're focusing on the challenges of mental health in the AAPI community and the efforts to address those needs. Joining me now is Lily Chen. She's the Executive Director of the United Chinese Americans WAVES program, and it stands for Wellness Advocacy Voices Education Support. And Lily, we'll talk about WAVES in just a moment, but I wanted to first start with this statistic. The leading cause of death of Asian Americans 15 to 24 years old is suicide. And that is just heartbreaking. No other racial group has this as the leading cause. Why are so many young Asian Americans suffering?
Yeah, this is startling indeed. So most mental illness was diagnosed before 25 years old. And Asian Americans are no exception. But there are unique risk factors for AAPI community and especially youth. One is that the AAPI group is the least likely to get help, actually 3 times less likely than white. And then there are other risk factors. Obviously, biological factor is one, but unique factors such as identity and bullying, being bullied. And for example, one of my daughters was bullied through school for 10 years before she realized that that the effect on her mental health. Another daughter of mine, I have 5 children total, and stopped speaking Chinese altogether. And then she didn't know why, because she didn't want to be different until she went to college, taking Asian American studies, and she realized that the effect of microaggression and the comments about her identity has on the mental health.
And, well, you mentioned that Asian Americans are also less likely to seek help.
Yes.
What are some of those barriers as to why
so many of them are not accessing help?
I'm so glad you asked these questions. There's a multitude of barriers. There are structural barriers, for example, the language barrier and the barrier of not enough providers who have linguistic and cultural competency to provide the care for us, right? And there's this deep-rooted stigma in our culture that it considered as a shame, and so people try to
disgrace on the family.
That's right. You know, losing face. So that's why we don't talk about it, and even we have it, we don't want to get help, right? So, and then another thing is a historic trauma, intergenerational trauma. So for example, we work with the Korean refugee communities. They were displaced because of war, and all that, you know, have a big effect on their mental health.
All of that takes a toll on mental health.
Yes.
You're part of this program called WAVES. Talk about what that collaborative health effort is and how it's helping Asian Americans.
So what it is really, we create a safe space and then also opportunities to educate our community members and focus on youth. We have parent education, mental health first aid training. We make documentary films to elevate our voices, destigmatize mental health so that we normalize mental health. We also would like to extend our help to other ethnic groups as well.
Well, thank you for all the work that you're doing here. For more resources and for more on this, you can go to ucawaves.org. Lily Chen, thank you so much. Thanks for your insight.
Thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Jeff?
Thank you both. We've had quite a week weather-wise, ups and downs, highs and lows. Temperature-wise, it's been very hot, humid. The rain has kind of moved out of the picture here now.
It has. We had some rain earlier this morning, even closer to, late morning. And then we have this little bit that has started to pop up here, and now it's completely gone. So it may be that we would see another isolated shower or thunderstorm later on this afternoon, but it's looking less and less likely. Let me show you the big picture. Now, down into South Carolina, there's still a tornado watch. That's the red shaded area, and some severe thunderstorm warnings. And I think that's why the Storm Prediction Center put us in a level 1 risk for today. We're so close to that potential that's down into South Carolina. But overnight last night, it all dove right down into South Carolina and missed us. And it's doing the same thing now. So that's probably going to be the trend as we get through the rest of the day today. But we're still under that level 1 risk. The Storm Prediction Center hasn't dropped us out of it just yet. So we're going to continue to watch that through the afternoon. Tomorrow, I feel like we have a better chance of more coverage of thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening, and 3 of our counties under that level 1 risk. It's Hope County, Cumberland County, and Sampson County for damaging wind mostly. We'll roll through the rest of the day today. This is 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon. Cloudy skies, but not much rain to speak of. Overnight, we may clear out. If we do, it's going to be on the foggy side tomorrow morning, and certainly you see at 9 a.m. some cloud cover. So we'll see an isolated shower potentially at lunchtime, and then around mid-afternoon, we begin to see a few cells popping up. This is when the cold front will come through, and it's really out of here by around 7 or 8 o'clock. After that, we begin to see some clearing, and the cooler, drier air comes rushing in just in time for the weekend. It is cloudy out there right now. We have a look at Goldsboro and Apex. I say it's cloudy. There's a lot of cloud cover out there, but it looks like the clouds are thin enough that we're seeing some sunshine. We can definitely see that in Apex and here in Chapel Hill as well. It looks like gray skies, and there's some high, thin clouds. I'm seeing a lot of shadows out there on the streets, too. And Fayetteville looking mostly cloudy. We'll end up with some rain for tomorrow, as much as another maybe a quarter of an inch to a half an inch. So for some totals for today and tomorrow, likely somewhere between a half an inch and an inch and a half. We really have a beautiful holiday weekend in our forecast. We will see some afternoon and evening storms tomorrow, and it'll be warm at 81. But 74 Saturday, 79 on Sunday for Mother's Day. The humidity drops. It is going to be cool in the mornings if you're going to be out, and a lot of folks will be. We have several commencement ceremonies over the weekend. UNC and Shaw. UNC is at 7 p.m., 68 degrees, and 62 degrees at 10 a.m. for Shaw. But lots of sunshine. On Sunday, Duke's going to be beautiful at 9 a.m. It's going to be cool at 59, so you may need a sweater if you're going to be out and about for that one. Again, beautiful weather for the weekend. We get into next week, and temperatures hold not too far from normal. Our normal high is upper 70s to around 80. We may see a few isolated thunderstorms on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we should be back to some more normal conditions. Check out some of these morning lows. Saturday morning down to 50, Sunday morning at 53. So you know what? You can see almost anything this time of year.
No doubt. Thanks, Elizabeth. How about seeing this? A great white shark off the coast of Alabama. The concerning trend of ocean predators on our coastlines coming up.
And here's a look at the winning Powerball numbers. 7, 41, 43, 44, 51. The Powerball is 5, and the multiplier is 2.
We're in the mid-70s just about everywhere in our viewing area, and just about everywhere has clouds, as well as White Lake, as you take this live look from our WRAL Live Cam network.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
A man is dead and 3 people are wounded after a shooting at Duke Manor Apartments in Durham. 4 people, 3 men and a woman, walked into Duke University Hospital with gunshot wounds. The woman was gravely hurt. The 2 surviving men suffered less serious injuries.
Tonight, a memorial service is happening in honor of Alden Elliott. The Department of Adult Correction officer died in last week's shooting in Charlotte. This is video from the procession for Elliott that happened a week ago today. His memorial service will be at 6 tonight at Catawba Valley Community College in Hickory.
There's a groundbreaking ceremony in Wilson this morning for the Carolina Mudcats' new stadium. It is going up right next to the Whirligig Park. Mudcats could start playing there in April of 2026. The stadium is just one piece of a sports entertainment complex that is planned for that area right in downtown. A hotel and family housing and business opportunities could be part of all this. The entire project is expected to cost $280 million, and there will be private and public funding.
Boeing delays, but not at the airport. Their Starliner spacecraft launch is pushed back to May 17th. A valve issue stopped their launch on Monday. 2 NASA astronauts were already in their seats on the Starliner when the operations team scrapped the launch. This mission could determine if NASA approves Boeing for routine trips to the International Space Station.
Maybe this will get you. The terrors of the deep are getting closer to the beach. A rare great white shark was spotted recently off the coast of Alabama. Researchers with the University of South Alabama caught this video of the shark while doing some research on reef fish in that area. Great white sharks are becoming more and more common in cool coastal water. This is the first great white sighting, though, in this spot on Alabama's coast.
Cue the Jaws music.
Dun, 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 dun.
I gotta start tracking those things. Let's get to something a little cuter. Oh, love this. The ranch that breeds the Budweiser Clydesdales has 15 new foals this year. The public will have their first chance to see them at this weekend's main event in Missouri. When the foals were born, they weighed roughly 150 pounds and were 3 feet tall. As adults, they could grow to 6 feet tall and weigh about 2,000 pounds. Yeah, a lot of muscle there. Clydesdales go through years of training before they can join one of Budweiser's 3 traveling teams. The ranch is home to more than 70 Clydesdales.
They are just majestic, beautiful animals. It takes a lot of training for them to be in those commercials.
Yeah, and we enjoy seeing them in the commercials. They're like made to be on TV.
Love the little ones. That's so cool. Life is an adventure, but not without an adventure buddy. Fortunately, our pet of the day is looking for just the same. Otis is a 2-year-old neutered male dog. He weighs 62 pounds. He's super handsome, upbeat, outgoing, just about up for anything all the time. He's very smart, knows a handful of commands already, so he can hit the ground running when he joins your family. Otis prefers to be the star of the show, so he would best fit into a home where he can be the only pet. For more information about Otis, you can visit spcawake.org. Otis is pretty cute, too.
Very cute. Well, we could see some isolated showers later this afternoon, but the bulk of the rain is over. And tomorrow we could see some severe weather. So be sure to stay with WRAL for all the news on that.
Dodged it just a bit to our south. NBC News Daily is up next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. We hope you have a wonderful Thursday.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.